Okay, so this video is going to be a bit different than what I normally do because a lot of it comes down to cut content. Obviously, there was a few things that were not included in the latest episode, the episode 9 of season 3 of ReZero, and a lot of it comes down to one important thing, and that is Crunchyroll obviously made a fuck up on one of the translation portions of the episode. When don't they? But that's mostly a piece of the puzzle. A lot of it also comes down to the fact that this episode skimmed an important conversation between Julius and Ricardo, which is what this video is. It is going to be about the MIA, the character that's been MIA since episode 1. And it is very noticeable once if the translation had done this right, but because they didn't, I'm obviously going to tell you. There is a certain character in the Anastasia camp, and this is discussed a little more with Julius and Ricardo in the light novel and web novel, but for now I'm just going to discuss on the light novel stuff. In terms of what's going on is they're obviously heading to their section where they have to go. Ricardo notices that Julius is kind of like distracted, so he kind of chats with him, trying to get him back in his A game, since anyone who acts the way Julius was acting would possibly get Ricardo killed, as he was kind of thinking that he needs someone he can actually, that's like ready for a fight. But the thing that Julius was bothered was during his fight against Roy Alphard, Roy acted like he was a familiar person to Julius, almost like a comrade. And this caused them to think about like Gluttony's ability and think back to the white whale and how getting hit by that mist essentially wiped you out and all this stuff, which shows how dangerous Gluttony's ability is, because he can literally grab one of their allies, take their memories away and name, and yeah, they wouldn't even know that they lost the team member until they interacted with Roy. And in this cut content, Roy Alphard, whenever they do interact with him, he calls Ricardo by name. And that essentially signifies that, yeah, one of their comrades has been, done for by Gluttony. But it also makes it pointless to hide the name, which is where a lot of people were mad, was for sure that Julius just outright said his name. But I think, at least in the books, from what I can tell, is that being called out, like for Ricardo at least, it definitely says that it would be pointless to hide the name at this point because Gluttony knows their name. So that's a problem. So not only that, but the attack that Julius does, Roy makes like this comment and all, but there is a specific thing that he says, like in the anime of Crunchyroll, it says splendid right here, but that's not what he says. What he says is brother, and that should give you the biggest signification that Julius's brother Joshua is the one that got caught by Gluttony. Because keep in mind, he was sent on an errand, and unfortunately, he got done by Gluttony. And this kind of should have told the viewer that, oh shit, Joshua's been kaput. His memories have been taken and all, because they don't remember Joshua. Well, for sure we're going to get a little more into that later on, but yeah, Joshua is got the REM treatment, if which is so unfortunate. But that's just one part of it. I wanted to definitely go over that part first, that the anime kind of glossed over an important thing, and that's that Joshua is like comaed. Like he got screwed by Gluttony. And in terms of Roy Alphard, so I'm going to move on to the next section. Otto's interaction with Gluttony. Now, I kind of went back to one of the earlier volumes, and volume 18 had a conversation between Subaru and Otto, and interestingly enough, Otto's description matched with the Royale Fart Subaru had seen. That's what it says in the light novel. I am just gonna say mostly this. I think that Live Batten Kaidos was not the one that Otto confronted, but it was actually Royale Fart. And I couldn't find a lot of evidence for this one, but a lot of it comes down to how Otto kind of spoke in the web or in the light novel, saying that Gluttony goes by a different name. This is how he kind of discovers there's multiple gluttonies and all that, which is obviously a problem, next to the fact that he does try to be sympathetic and try to play like communicate using his merchant skills with Gluttony, and that completely backfired. A lot of it is like how the anime showed it, like, oh, you're a merchant, you don't really care about people's lives. But another thing was he didn't like that it was being pitied, like Otto was pitying him, so he caught on to that, and that obviously fucked up what Otto was doing. But I mean, that's just the audio section. Yeah, the Otto section. But finally, I'm obviously gonna save the Felix stuff and Subaru and greed, like all that stuff, in a different video, or if anything, honestly, I think they did that pretty well. But something that definitely caught on, that we'll move to the final section of this video, is Garfiel Tinsel. Look, I think the anime did a splendid job with showing Elsa and all this and that, but that's more original to the anime, because when I read through Garfiel and Wilhelm fighting against Teresia and Kurgan, a lot of it definitely showed that Garfiel is having self-doubts. A lot of his arc at this point, after having Mimi be, well, hurt, is that can he actually avenge her? Can he actually be able to be strong enough to fight against these legends? Because Garfiel is a bookworm. He's a nerd. He read up on all the legends and stuff. And yeah, a lot of it is he doesn't know if he can actually stand up against someone like Kurgan, who he's aware of. Now, he obviously, I believe he was told that they're dead, and that they're probably not at their prime. So a lot of it also comes down to Garfield's self-doubt about whether he can even, what is he like, can he even stand up to these legends? If he can't even handle them currently, how can he call himself the strongest if he might have been wiped out if they were at their prime? Like, a lot of it is definitely Garfield's self-doubts, and I think the anime is fine showing else. It kind of shows her appearing whenever he's being doubtful of himself. But yeah, if anything, Kurgan is the wall that Garfield has to break through in order to reach a new level of strength. So, you know, the shonen protagonist route, where he needs to get stronger, and by this is by facing one of the legends, being Kurgan. And I think I honestly would have loved a lot of the inner monologue appearing, because it would have been nice to show what arc Garfield's going through currently, and that is self-doubt, that he needs to overcome this and get stronger for the sake of not only Amelia but also his captain, Subaru. And it's a little bit of a missed opportunity, but I think the anime did good enough to kind of show that. I think Elsa is literally just there as the symbolism of his self-doubt, which is fine, I guess. But yeah, I kind of wish we had a little bit of inner monologue with Garfield's self-doubt. But other than that, I'm pretty excited for the next episode. It's gonna be freaking hype. But I thought I'd tell y'all some little bit of cut content that caught my attention while I was reading volume 19 of ReZero at work.